Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we continue into the off-season, trying to think what we're going to do for next year with sleepers this time, Jeff, which I think sleepers are my favorite episode now. Except I think deep sleeper, I even like deep sleepers better. We don't try to make sleepers like ranked like 20th or 30th. So what do we do here? I can't remember what I said now. You have to be 40 or beyond at running back, right? On the current Fantasy Pros ranks. Or 50 beyond at wide receiver, and then tight end can be like 20 or beyond. Quarterback the same. So we're trying to go deeper a little bit just to not get the same names. So I probably could come up with a bunch, but we picked our top 5, so we'll go over our top 5 here. And there might be maybe one overlap. I have a feeling I'm going to predict that we're going to have, I don't know your list yet, Jeff, but I'm going to predict one overlapping player. So other than that, I don't have a clue what you're going to do. So let's just start with the list. Let's go 5 to 1. We'll start with your number 5. Let's see what you have.
So at number 5. This is an unusual pick for me,
right,
because I'm actually going tight end, which I'm going to guess you don't have one on your list.
I do have one on my list.
Oh my gosh, okay.
At number 5.
Okay, I did not see this coming. Anyway,
probably
number
not the same
5,
guy, but.
Yeah, I'm actually going where I believe the team, their best option is to double up on tight end. So they already have a dominant tight end, and their other tight end showed out as a rookie, and that is Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
I really, really like this guy. He got tremendous ball skills. He was wonderful in college. He showed up his rookie year, and I think, especially they had Golden Tate. They traded for him. They no longer have him. So you have Elshon. They did get Deshawn, Jackson, but I don't really care about him. You have Aguilar. They need to get that offense moving in the right direction again. Wentz is able to find Ertz whenever he wants. I really think that this could be a good time for them to incorporate him more into the offense, and he might be a sneaky tight end pick, especially in a place where it's difficult to get a solid tight end outside of the top 7 or so.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, especially if Ertz were to go down, he all of a sudden falls.
Right, and this is me saying, hey, I think he's going to have value even with Ertz, and then obviously if that happens, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, he's one of the few that can just jump up. We've seen other guys step in for injury and it never quite happened. Like last year, Greg Olsen goes down, Ian Thomas comes in and wasn't the same guy, or Delaney Walker goes down and Jonnu Smith didn't jump in. But this is a different story. Goddard will jump in and be just ridiculously good, I think.
Right. Yeah, and just to give you an idea, his stat line, he did start 8 games last year. He was around for all 16, but he was a rookie. It takes a while for tight ends. He had 44 targets, caught 33 of those for 334 yards with 4 touchdowns. So obviously he started slow, and he did, he showed up at the end of the year as well, which is always good to see them progressing. So that's why I picked Dallas Goedert at number 5.
I like Goedert, but I went a different tight end here at number 5. I actually had 2 players I was considering, but I went with the one who's probably a little bit of a safer pick. I'll say my guy I didn't pick was actually Jake Butt.
We could go on a whole nother thing.
I like Jake. I think he's had 3 ACL injuries though now.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites before that, third injury, second injury.
He didn't really get a shot, but he's more maybe like a deep sleeper type candidate, like even further on. But that's one to watch. I think he's interesting. But I went with Mark Andrews from Baltimore. It's like, which tight end do you go if one of them is going to step up from there? Is it Andrews? Is it Hurst? I feel like it's going to be Andrews. And I like this numbers from last year: 34 catches, 552 yards. So 16.2 yards per catch for a tight end is pretty good, and 3 touchdowns. I think he looked pretty good. I think he's going to be the better of the 2, basically at this point. And you got to throw the ball somewhere, I think, at some point, right? I mean, they're not going to throw it a lot. Lamar Jackson's not going to be just throwing the ball around everywhere, but I think when he does, he's going to throw to his tight end a little bit more. Yeah, and I think this guy Andrews really looked good towards the end of the year. So
yeah, I like that pick. I personally like Hayden Hurst still. I don't think he got the chance to really shine, but their wide receiving crew leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah. And I think with Lamar Jackson being able to run the way he can, you have Ingram in the backfield now. I think you could utilize a very different offense than what is the norm now with, just these very tall, very fast wide receivers running all around, I think you could actually implement multiple tight ends in that offense and be okay.
If they're both good, they both could actually definitely have value. I like Andrews. He's like 23rd currently. I think Goddard's 21st currently. But yeah, I thought about putting Jake Butt there. I like
Yeah, I think that's more of you want him to do well than...
Yes, maybe. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a deep sleeper episode. Maybe he'll show up there. All right, so those number 5 were tight ends for both of us. So who's your number 4?
Number 4, I picked, unbelievably, a Miami player, and his name is Albert Wilson.
Okay.
So he is a wide receiver that's been around the league. He was in Kansas City for a while. Last year, he was in Miami. He did really well for them, even though they were struggling before he got hurt. So that was the big one. His numbers were actually pretty good. He only played 7 games. He had 26 receptions for 391 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was their big play guy. And especially with the way things are going in Miami, I think they have to shake it up. Obviously, they still have players hanging around.
You didn't want to put Devontae Parker in
this
list?
Exactly. So mostly Parker. And he is a very big, talented guy that's never gotten it together. But I think Albert Wilson has a lot of upside because I think he can be that slot guy, that big play guy that they desperately need. I know you could say that Stills is that guy or, Parker should be that guy, but they just really haven't been. So I liked what I saw last year. He got injured. Mm-hmm. And really, I feel like this is, not to put him down or anything, but he is going to be almost 27 or turn 27 this year. I feel like it's his last hurrah. So I feel like this is where he really has to step up.
Yeah, and somebody's going to have to step up there, right? You think, Fitzpatrick's going to throw the ball around. And, Wilson, he was showing some signs again, then, got hurt. It feels like Devontae Parker doesn't have it in him.
At the time I finally say there's no possible way he's going to do it. Because last year he had one game that was just phenomenal. It was insane. I just can't trust the guy.
But Wilson definitely has a shot, I think. Parker's way down there too, isn't he, rankings-wise? They're both down there.
Yeah, they're both down there.
I never buy into Kenny Stills. I don't know.
I don't either. I know people hate that when we diss on Stills. He's fine. He's a good player. He's just not fantasy relevant for me.
Yeah, not for me. Maybe it's Mike, Gesicki. Maybe the tight end will do something. But someone's going to get some points here at wide receiver. They have to. They just have to, I feel like. So Wilson's an interesting pick. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, you have to sleep on that one. It's a strange one. I think it would be more apparent if he didn't get injured.
Yeah, he was showing some signs there that he could be pretty decent. And then, I just hold out hope on Parker. I just do. I still do.
That'll be that's a game changer for the Dolphins if they can finally get him playing.
So I'll say my number 4. I went with another wide receiver. I went with Trey Quan, who started to show some good signs last year with mainly one game of 10 for 157 and a touchdown. Yeah. Just looked ridiculously good. And then he followed up that game with 2 games of 1 target apiece for no catches. So, but that game was ridiculous. He was really, really good. And he also earlier in the year had a 3 for 111 and 2 touchdown game. So he had those brief flashes, those 2 games just briefly flashed. And, I liked him last year. He was my deep sleeper of the year pick. Remember that at the beginning of last year. And, I'll take a 10 for 157 for touchdown. 1 game's all I need to say that was a good pick. So I'm increasing him a level this year, putting him on my sleeper. I think any player playing with Drew Brees should be good. And this is the thing with that. Who they signed? What's his name? Latavius Murray, running back to go in for Ingram. I just don't know if it's still going to be as much of a. They're still going to be a ground. They're going to run the ball a lot, but I don't think they're going to go crazy like they did 2 years ago, which really skewed it. Where people thought it was going to be running, but Kamara's still going to get his, but they're going to pass the ball. I think Trey Quan's going to get some. So he's in the 50. Let's see here. Where's Trey Quan Smith? 67th right now ranking, so he's down there quite a ways.
I like that. He's a talented young wide receiver. Yeah. See if he steps up this year.
He has a big range of. He's 1 spot ahead of Albert Wilson currently.
Oh, okay.
Wilson 68th, Trey Quan 67th. So not bad for our 4th pick. We picked guys right next to each other. Trey Quan has a range of 37 to 72 on Fantasy Pros. People have him all the way up to 37. That's pushing it a little bit. Albert Wilson's range is 45 to 83. So not bad. So that's it. That's my number 4. So who's your number 3?
Number 3, I did not want it to go this way, but I actually ended up being another Miami player, which I hate Miami's offense, but you got to find them where you can. And all these guys are being, they're just, buried right now. And this is going to be the backup running back.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Yeah. So, and I always butcher his name. Do you know how to pronounce his name?
Ballage?
Is it Balaj?
No, I have no idea. He hasn't done enough for me to hear him.
I know. So bad. I should know it. But so he's a big running back, and it's Kalen Balaj, however you say it.
Yeah.
And really my feeling about this one is more of a value pick because he comes in at 58th ranked running back right now. He's going to be the number 2. Gore moved on. And last year, Gore had over 100 carries. He got a lot of work.
Yep.
And I just truly don't think that this is going to be one of these situations where it's a, kind of a primetime running back situation. I think that they're going to share the ball.
They did last yeyear. I mean, him and Gore. I mean, I don't think Drake's going to get it.
Yeah. And my biggest fear about him is I don't know if he's necessarily a disciplined player. I don't know if he's going to get in trouble with, pass coverage or fumbling, things of that nature. I know that he had a little issue with that last year, but he is a big, talented back. He is relatively fast for his size. And he was able to break off some really good runs, and he is much bigger than their other running back they have going right now. So I think that he could get some goal line work. But then again, I don't think Gore scored a touchdown last year, and he's usually okay around the goal line as well. So, there's a lot to be kind of waiting and find out there. But I really like that value pick right there.
Yeah, I kind of considered him. I was looking for a running back, and typically it's probably where we're putting players. It's going to be a backup currently. And I think he's one of the better ones because Drake did not have a stranglehold in that job last year. And he definitely could be overtaken. So I think that's a pretty solid one. But I went with the same kind of philosophy and went with a running back here too. So so far our list feels like we did it. We followed the same pattern. My number 3 is also a running back. It's also a backup running back. I went with Edo Smith, who is now the clear number 2 in Atlanta with Tevin Coleman gone. And same kind of thing. Like Miami, Drake wasn't the main guy. The other guy left, and you feel like they're probably just going to bring somebody else in and do the same kind of thing. And I feel like that's going to happen in Atlanta too. It's always kind of been 2 guys. Now Freeman's coming off basically a lost year from injury, so we don't know what he's going to be. And I think Edo Smith's going to kind of step in and he's going to have like a split workload in a way. And if Freeman was to go down again, Edo Smith's going to get quite a bit of work. I don't know how great of a player he is. He showed some signs last year. He could be good. It more might be that this guy's a sleeper to get some work and could be good. We need to see more from him to see if he's actually any good. But he has a shot. I think he's going into a position where he should get a lot of work, or more than most guys at this point in the the rankings. So I'll go with Edo Smith. That's my only running back on the list. He's my only one.
I only had one as well.
Yeah, so let's see. Some other guys, I guess you could consider in that range. There's not really a lot of them. Do you really I can't throw Deontay Foreman again. I can't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of the ones that I really wish well, and I wanted him to do it. But dude, that Achilles is a rough one to come back, and he was not exactly lightning in a bottle before that.
One player though who is interesting to me is Mike Davis at 63 for the Bears, because Jordan Howard's gone. Other than Trach Cohen, are they going to draft somebody? Is that the idea?
No idea what they're going to be doing.
Trach Cohen, he's not an every down back.
No,
at all.
I think they'll use him a little bit more. I really like him.
They're going to use him a lot.
But I agree with you.
Mike Davis is he's the Jordan Howard, and he's ranked currently 63rd. So I think there's some updating to do with people's ranks right now. Mike Davis is, I think, one to watch out for too. So yeah, I guess people are probably waiting to see what happens after the draft, where he should go. So that was our number 3. So who do you have at number 2?
Number 2 is is a return.
Oh, here we go.
So he returns to my list. I won't necessarily say I was wrong. I think that he was on the right track, and he'll probably show up on a lot of people's now. But It's Geronimo Allison. Give him one more year.
I saw his name and I thought,
yeah, it's unfortunate, really. I mean, right now he's ranked as the 52nd wide receiver. He started off pretty solid. He only played 5 games before he had an injury that pretty much cost him the rest of the year. He had 20 receptions, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just looked really solid. He was going to be the Green Bay number 2. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, that is, that's just solid gold. So, I feel less secure about it than I did last year because now you have 2 young guys that, finally have a year under their belt. Maybe they made strides. They didn't really look that great last year. Each of them had a moment. So I think Geronimo Allison is still the guy that will wrap up that number 2 spot. But a lot can change about this one. It's just he's in such a good position. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I saw his name again. I'm looking through the rankings and I'm thinking maybe I should put him there. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I know I had to. It hurts me, but I don't know.
But he's in a good spot. He's in a better spot than he was last year when we hyped him up. Well, we didn't really hype, but we just
exactly. Well, no, I think he's in a worse spot. I thought he was in a better spot last year.
No Randall Cobb now.
Yeah, but I think I felt that Randall Cobb was done.
You think the second year guys?
You have to think, right? Yeah. Well,
both. You think both of them are just
passed up? Who? Geronimo? No. I don't think either of them have passed him yet.
But they're just there.
They're there. And let's be honest, Geronimo hasn't done anything where they absolutely need him to take over. You haven't seen him. He's not like an amazing elite athlete that's going to do this and that. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. He is good enough, and I really liked him when I saw him. But, you get a year under these young guys' belts, and they should get better.
And they were all thought of as better prospects than him coming out of college, too.
It's just one of those. And what are the names? Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
And St. Brown.
And then, we won't say his first name.
I'm just going to stick with
that. They might be better than I think, and that's why I kind of hold back. Because also, who knows, maybe they don't necessarily need, they have a lot of other things they should draft, but they could easily draft someone as well that is just a, spectacular athlete or something, then is a burner and he gets more looks. I don't know. But yeah, right now I think Geronimo Allison should be up there. He's my number 2. But he burned me last year because of the injury, so I'm kind of gun shy.
So I went with the wide receiver at number 2. I went with Deshawn Hamilton from the Broncos. So he's currently the number 3, so behind Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton, and then it's Deshawn.
You are not doing this. You're actually banking on him cracking the top 2?
I don't know. I'm not a Sanders guy.
I was going to say you hated Sanders.
But these last 4 games last year, the yardage isn't there necessarily, but the targets and the catches were there. He showed he could do something. 7 for 47 and touchdown, 7 for 46, 6 for 40 and touchdown, 5 for 49. So at least he had 9, 12, 9, and 8 targets for those games. So he had 38 targets the last 4 games. They used him a little bit. I think there could be something there. And as much, Joe Flacco gets a lot of crap. He really does. And, a lot of it's for, it's reasonable. It really is. I do think, though, I think Flacco has something. He can throw the ball enough. I really do think so. He's a weirdo because I don't think he's not like a good quarterback. Joe Flacco elite talk. That just feels so ancient. He never was that. But I think he's good enough to get some. This all depends on Emmanuel Sanders, really, to me. If Sanders is like done, if he's not quite, how old is Emmanuel Sanders now? He's been injured. He's 32 years old at this point. He's had injuries.
Yeah, he did well last year, though. He was the one that did the best on that team.
I've been doubting him for how many years now?
Yeah, eventually you will be correct.
I'll be right at some, but just like I've done until Delaney Walker every year, and he got hurt last year. So
no, I don't necessarily hate the pick though, because our other list breakouts. I think Cortland Sutton is ready for a breakout. Yep. So I do think Sanders will take a step back. So it's quite possible, and if they use Hamilton the correct way, slot wide receivers are becoming pretty versatile and used a lot more. So Yeah, it's possible.
It is. There's a possibility. But
yeah.
We'll see. All right, so let's go to number 1.
Number 1, this will probably be no surprise, but...
And this is probably going to be our overlap.
Right. And it's kind of funny because there's not a lot you can point to from last year to make him number 1 for me.
There's not.
But I just
talk about the same guy.
Yeah, I really like James Washington at 54th. Wide receiver ranked. And the guy is, if you watch him, he's a little strange because he's more built like a running back. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over.
Talked about him a lot. Now,
yeah,
it feels like now.
But
last year too.
The big thing with this, he really is he's a good talent. He's got a lot of really good skills. He's a good wide receiver. He dominated in college, and I know that doesn't always translate, but he did very, very well. And I think that just the sheer amount of targets that they have to repurpose in that offense, you have to believe that he is going to get more than enough chances in order to establish himself as the number 2 across from Juju, who also got an enormous amount of targets. So you have to think that that isn't going to increase for him, to the point where it disappears other places. I know I've heard in the tight end that McDonald is going to get a ton more. I don't think so.
I hear way too much about that.
Jesse James is gone, so okay, he'll soak up his. But there was 168 targets that went to Antonio Brown.
Yep.
Where are those going to go? You're telling me that you just give him 80, half of those, and he's not a starter? I mean, give me a break. So I think James Washington is the lock and load number 1 for me.
Yep, he's my number 1 as well. It was pretty clear to me. And funny thing is, I think he was your deep sleeper pick last year.
Yeah.
Trey Quan was mine. So our deep sleeper picks from last year made it to our list this year. So
they did. Yeah,
that's a win that they're still relevant, possibly.
I'll take it.
We'll take it. I don't see how this doesn't work out with him.
Okay, this is what I said about Geronimo Allison a little bit too last year.
But this is a guy who
set up.
Geronimo Allison was never as regarded as Washington. He was a second-round draft pick. They didn't just make him a second-round draft pick for nothing. And we always had to know he wasn't probably going to do much last year. He had Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster ahead of him. It's just hard to break in, jump up there. I don't see how this doesn't work out. The guy just turned 23 years old yesterday. So he's just 23. That's it. He's young. I really, really think this is going to work out and work out really well. I'm becoming very confident in this, actually. I don't see how it doesn't work.
No, yeah. I really do like the guy, and
he's a talented player.
And even if, say, this is completely a probably worthless stat, a worthless piece of information, but even if, say, the worst happens and something happens to Roethlisberger, right? And they're like, okay, they're going to change up their offense. Guess who the backup quarterback is? It is his quarterback that he had in college, where he was the best wide receiver in college.
Yep.
So, also great. So he has a rapport with the backup already. There's just not a whole lot of things that can hurt this guy besides for injury.
And I know people are going to think this offense is going to go down because no Le'Veon Bell, no Antonio Brown. They didn't have Bell last year. Connor was fine. Connor's numbers were very, very comparable. And people like James Conner and gave him credit, but I don't think people gave him credit for his numbers were very close, weren't they? I mean,
yeah,
even his catching, even his receiving.
Right. And at some point, okay, and then everyone said the same thing, right? Antonio Brown is a special talent, which he is. Don't get me wrong.
Juju's numbers are just as good.
So all of a sudden, at some point you have to ask yourself, is it partially or a large part the offense? Mm-hmm. And if it is, what does this make him? The next Juju?
I mean,
I'll take that all day.
Okay, was he drafted higher than Juju? Were they both second rounders?
I think they were similar, if I'm correct, because Juju was USC, right?
Yeah, it was. They were both second round. They're both second round picks.
So obviously, and
funny thing is, James Washington's older than Juju.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, Juju is so young.
Juju has all he has.
Yeah, he was my my crush for a very long time, but now he's arrived. So I have to find someone else to be my sleeper pick.
All right, I think James Washington's the easy, clear pick, and I think by doing the list now, we get to say he's a sleeper, but based on our requirements, he'll probably not be.
Right.
As this goes on.
Right now, he's 54th, but I have a feeling he will make his way into the top 40 for sure.
Me, I have to update my rank. I haven't updated my ranks yet,
right?
In a while, so he's still. Let me update that right now as we're talking, because James Washington was still lower on mine. I had him at 63 at the time. And so I'm moving him up into the 40s for now. I'll do some updating later. But yeah, he should be up there at that point.
Yeah, even if they drafted someone, I couldn't imagine him not having value.
Yeah, he has to. I think he was a second round pick for a reason. I think it's not like he was bad last year. He didn't have a shot because of who he was on the team with, who were the two receivers ahead of him. It was just tough. So, all right, that's gonna be, I think, it for sleepers this week. I think we got some good ones on there. So, running back's the one that's tough to find. It just is. So, wide receiver, there's always guys.
Yeah.
Hey, we had a decent track record last year. Like Chris Godwin was one of ours. I mean, Geronimo was one of our, we talked up to. It didn't quite happen.
Well, yeah. A lot of guys that are getting, I don't want to say overhyped, but they're getting a lot of recognition early in the year for not having breakout years quite yet.
Yep.
So it's very interesting to look at the rankings right now. And obviously we do go off of Fantasy Football Pros, man.
Fantasy Pros. Forget.
So it is
we're not in the season yet.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a kind of a good
I guess
tell, because if you go to like ESPN or you go something like that, you can go off of one person's and then they can really be biased.
James
but these ones at least
James Washington's going to go up this list.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So, all right, I think that'll do it. We'll talk to you guys next time.